under the Labour governments of Harold Wilson, for whom Elizabeth II developed something of a soft spot, with the swinging 60s, divorce and homosexual law reform, the Beatles, miniskirts, England winning the World Cup. In one sense, the monarchy rode serenely, and not a little superciliously, above all these social and political changes. Elizabeth II, her critics complained, occupied a completely different universe from the women's lib movement that developed in the 1960s and 1970s, and so she did. On the other hand, the antiquated British system of hereditary monarchy delivered supreme national prestige and authority to a woman throughout these tumultuous years, with an open-mindedness and, yes, a modernity that the contemporary United States still cannot bring itself to embrace. Every episode of The Crown, 201 to 310, and every chapter of our book, 1 to 20, plays with this delicious paradox, the sight of powerful men having to bow and kneel to an unremarkable mother of two, of four by the end of Season 2. This second volume follows the first in attempting to separate history from invention. How much of the drama that viewers so enjoy in The Crown is historically true, and how much has series creator Peter Morgan invented? On several occasions, we will follow Elizabeth II as she meets characters whom we are 99% certain she cannot possibly have encountered in this way. The rebel peer Lord Altrincham, for example, visiting Buckingham Palace after his dramatic criticisms of the monarchy, or Eileen Parker, the wife of Philip's friend Mike Parker, whom Elizabeth seeks out to discuss her marriage problems. No, dear viewer and listener, these encounters did not happen. But yes, these dramatic inventions have been devised to embody the central themes and messages of the plot. Drama, remember, is not the same as documentary. Peter Morgan does not write a word of The Crown until he has worked out a documented historical template for each episode with the series research team. Solid factual data, letters, documents, newsreels, and first-hand interviews with surviving participants and witnesses form the backbone and skeleton of every story. Then the writer and his fellow writers add dramatic flesh to the bones, creating a drama on screen that is a unique blend of real history and imagined truths, as exemplified by the famous stag scene in The Queen, Peter Morgan's Oscar-winning movie of 2006. Towards the climax of The Queen, which depicts the events following the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, in August 1997, we see Elizabeth II, played by Helen Mirren, lost in the Highlands of Scotland in the course of a deer hunt. Suddenly she catches sight of the deer, a magnificent imperial stag, standing proudly on the riverbank in front of her, an embattled and harassed monarch just like her, pursued as she is at that moment by the media of the world, who are condemning her for her apparent indifference to Diana's death. Elizabeth starts talking to the stag. She senses their common plight, and it pierces her to the quick. Stricken with anxiety as she hears the hunters approach, she then waves her arms and shoos the imperiled beast to run away to safety, which he does. 1 minute he is there, the next minute he is gone. The Peter Morgan stag scene is taught in film schools around the world as an illustration of how sheer invention, plucked out of the air, is essential to make history performable. No one imagines that Queen Elizabeth II has ever spoken to a wild stag in her life, but it is the scene that people remember as summing up the essential truth of the Queen and conveying the totally accurate and historical message of the movie, that if Diana was destroyed by the monarchy, her mother-in-law was another type of casualty. Every episode of the Crown TV series has been imaginatively built in a similar fashion around a major historical event of the period, from the Anglo-French-Israeli conspiracy behind the invasion of Suez in 1956 to the tragic deaths of 116 children and 28 adults in the Welsh mining village of Aberfan in 1966. The corresponding chapter in this book will seek to explain the different layers of that episode, analysing how research and interpretation have worked together to create the final dramatic mix. In 1956, for example, only a few inner top-level government conspirators knew the details.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.